Greetings, humanity. I am Jim, and I am here once again playing Torment Tides of Numenera for a bit. It is one of those Fridays when I actually have stuff happening later in the day, so I may break off a tad earlier than I normally would. But we shall see. We shall see. I tend to play this game in shorter bursts than I do other games, as has been evident in the past, and I keep talking about that. But so let's just play the thing and see what happens. You know how this works. You do. Your dominant tides will not stop you from taking any paths or picking anything that I can't read because it went by too fast. So, let's see where we left off. Ah, yes, the horrible, horrible place is where we left off. Possibly. I don't know, I'm just calling it that. So many... If you look at all of these different things that we can poke and prod in here, it seems slightly terrifying. I think we're going to have to go through this room to get to this cluster o' tongues. I think to get anywhere, actually, because everything leads through this room. So they're making sure we encounter this. But, then we have that. So there's that tongue.
Better not try anything.
There are multiple tongue clusters, I see. Okay. So the only things to interact with are in these spots. And then... yeah, we have four different tongue clusters. Four different tongue clusters that we can get at here. And this... oh yes, right. Once again, because of course, ADHD. Let me go ahead and put this up and once again remind everyone that of our content warnings for this, as you know, we're sitting in here and I immediately get to the gore. The game contains biological and body horror, identity crisis, slavery, death, assault, and drug use. So please be aware of that and back away if you need to. Because we are in a being made entirely of flesh, and so that's yeah, kind of where we are. It's where we are. Okay. Getting close to the end. Not quite there yet, perhaps. Alright, since there are a lot of these things, we might be able to edge past them over this way, but perhaps not? I don't know. Alright. I don't know if touching that will open up other things as well. But all we can do is find out. Oh, it's a crisis. Navigate the valve doors to discover the entrance to the Bloom's Heart. Oh, great. This will not go well. We have an Abacos with 51 health. Corpuscular Maws with 40 health. And I don't think, you know, if we can just sort of avoid them, I think it'll be fine. So I can see a path through here. There's a tongue cluster there. And a tongue cluster there. And so if we go through, then we can eventually get up there. If we go through that way. It looks like those are chambers that open. That also appears to be happening over here. Let's see. We have these openings. Yeah, there are two different ways to get through. I didn't realize a crisis would happen immediately. Bulbous Venus sacs inflate with bursts of foul air, pulsing and jiggling in the humid, fetid breaths that emanate from the Bloom's Heart. The skin of the sacs is relatively thin. You might be able to puncture them with enough force, but it will probably draw the Bloom's attention. I have a way through this. It's going to take a little time. I want to move everyone over here. I can't believe I didn't think of this until just a moment ago, but that's okay.
Why, of course.
I'm gonna let them keep fighting. That strikes me as the smart thing to do. I gotta move you over here. And we're gonna use Quantum Step. Okay. By which I mean we're going to cheat. Let's put Eratus in there first. Oh, you're kidding me. We have to have line of sight. We never had to have line of sight before. How dare they? How dare. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, I could go like, yeah, no, okay. Alright, well, never mind then.
Yes. Now.
The heck? Oh, we don't have time. Something happened. Okay. We're going to try and be stealthy here. Potentially. Okay, we gotta do this the hard way. I didn't realize we were gonna have to do this the hard way, but apparently we have to do this the hard way. No, we're not gonna be able to stealth everyone through there. That's ridiculous. But I also, I don't want to, I don't want this to take forever. I'm just gonna move you here for now. Okay. You were hobbled for a round. Not sure what that means. It means you can't run as far.
Soul of action.
Just want to let them fight a little bit longer, so we don't have as much to worry about. Alright.
I'm ready.
Let's see if we can get you through that way. Okay.
Feels like someone threw up in my mouth.
All right.
Let them just deal with their own thing. Oh, you're hobbled. Great. Don't want you to be trapped in there. Because they're gonna go after you, they always do. You're hobbled 2 rounds. It's okay if you're trapped in there.
Why not?
Because you can take the hit. Is it easier for us to do this now? No line of sight. Should have let you run into the room. Okay. We're gonna have to stay there until we get everyone over there. That will be important. Of course, when they're done fighting, they're gonna come after us anyway. But we'll see kind of how this goes. Alright. I'm gonna wait.
Feels
Crap
like
keeps
someone
happening.
threw up in my mouth.
Okay.
You won't notice I'm gone.
Get you in there. Okay, you're hobbled again. Alright. It's okay, we got you.
Of course.
I'm just gonna move you a little further in. And stop. That fight's only gonna last so long. Okay, we're gonna quantum step you. Now that I can see you. Let me try that again. Why is the Viper is the ally? And the position is there. There we go. Now we're going to get you out of dodge.
I'm going.
Okay.
You want it done right.
Leave you closer to the entrance here.
Fair enough.
Leave you closer to the entrance.
Something to do.
Unless this opens up, which would be hysterical. That fight's only going to last so much longer. That abacus is going to go down, and then we'll have a couple of these to deal with. All right, you're up. We're going to blast them with tidal energy, I guess. A cluster of bloom tongues shivers and quakes before you. At your touch, one of them writhes around your arm, and you feel its insistent, invasive psychic touch in your mind. The bloom tongues call up your memories, drawing some of them to the fore, almost as if they were choosing to dish at a banquet. We shall blast the tongues with tidal energy, as we always do. The tides roil in turn within you as if aching to be set free, and they burst forth from your mind in a wave. The tongues flatten under the force of the onslaught, and then weave slowly upright. Now they seem somehow fearful, and they chitter amongst themselves, cowering before you. Yes. Silver and red tide. Okay. Take control of the tongues and force them to open the nearest doorway, which is the point. We are sitting at a default of 95%. That's pretty good. You extend your consciousness and wrap your mind around the tongues. They thrash and hiss, struggling to wrest themselves free, but you assert control over them. They deflate the sacks that block the nearest door, allowing you to access the next chamber. The tongues are tractable now, but you can feel their seething resentment. Okay, no, that was the one we wanted.
Feels like someone threw up in my mouth.
I know it does. Okay. Alright, everybody in here.
Why not?
Happy to help.
Oof. Yeah, they're gonna be done with that abacus very soon. You gotta hurry here. Okay, let's have a chat with the tongue cluster. Here we go again, using the tides, because We feel as though the bloom seems to respect us when we use the tides against it. Tidal energy sweeps across the bloom tongues. They bow and weave, trying to avoid the sensations that just spill into them until they sag, defeated. Alright, and once again, we gotta take control of the tongues and make them open this door. Let's hope they do that. 95%. Here we go. Success! You open your mind and extend your senses. The bloom tongues resist, twisting and hissing, but in the end they are no match for your will. They deflate the organic sacs that block the nearest doorway, allowing you access to the next chamber. Of course. So they can get through quite easily as well. Fabulous. Alright. Well, let's get everyone into the room.
All right.
Oh, joy.
Sure enough.
Take up defensive positions here. Oh, that was fast. Yeah, here we go. They always immediately go for Tiber.
Ready.
I can't use the action because it took me longer to get over there. Greasy gray tubes feed a thin, rank fluid into the puckered wall of the heart. An enormous iris muscle contracts and pulses as if held shut by a godlike act of will. You can use the transdimensional scalpel, which would be fun. You can use natural lore to try to... We can't do any of this yet, but we'll be able to next round. Try to prise the muscles apart using natural lore. Using healing and natural lore, try to relax the muscles that hold the sphincter closed. We can use smashing, try to pinch off one of the tubes that feed the sphincter, or leave the sphincter alone, which is all we can do right now. It may be scalpel time. I don't know. This is a good question. Okay, let's take care of this one. I mean, we don't have to spend anything, really. Gotcha. A transdimensional rift opens and several humans tumble out. Interesting. Transdimensional rift tears open and several humans tumble out. Inkpot. The Great Devourer has called us to the heart! You recognize the shrill voice of Inkpot, the Bloom cultist. Oh my god. A trespasser and defiler is tormenting our god. Let us punish him, brothers. Oh no.
Feels like someone threw up in my mouth.
This is not good. We use a feint, which we're excellent at.
Possible. Keep your wits about you.
And then that's all we can do now. sucker punch him, but he's out of range, so never mind. We can wait. That's all we can do. Let's deal with this one. Opportunist. Nah, no, we're fine. Hit him! Ooh, that's a good hammer. Oh, good lord. Okay. I gotta do this. Okay. This seems to be the one that might give us the most that we're looking for. Without us having to use the scalpel. Of course, if we use the scalpel, it'll get everything done immediately, but at the same time, then that'll be like an alarm bell going off. So if we've got alternatives to a further alarm bell going off, I mean, there are already things coming after us, but let me see what I can do here. Oh no, it's strength. Oh no! Use half my strength on that. You push and pull on the muscles, you don't manage to find any kind of pressure point that will relieve the contraction. This word. 2 might pull. Oh joy.
Yes.
You should just use the bloody scalpel. Ah, I hate this. How is Tiber doing? It's gonna attack. Well, he could attack me. That's possible. No, we're pretty much, I think, gonna be done unless there's anything I want to use on anyone, which I don't think I know that I can. Positive and status settle from enemies. Condition gain plus 50% of protection. There's a lot here. Alright. Oh, just letting them through, that's great.
Right where I want you.
Are there any special attacks I need to use? Oh, yes. No, there's still an enemy there, so we're gonna move you further there. Good lord. Okay, yeah, this is not good. This is not great. I think we're just gonna attack this thing with what we have available. 85% is not a problem.
Barely making a scratch.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly where we wanted to be. That's not where we wanted to be. Okay, we are breaking out the scalpel. We don't have time for this. You slide the scalpel across the muscles that protect the heart, and they separate and fall away. Noxious fluid sprays from the wound, and the subsonic pulsing of the heart begins to race. As if in panic or fury, you carve a space large enough to crawl through.
Damnation.
And we can actually retreat now. Okay. Let me start moving my companions to allow them to retreat. What happened? Okay, retreating would be a good idea. Yeah, let's just get everyone out at this point, I think. I'm trying to figure out whose turn is coming up versus does it just happen in this order? Is that what we're seeing here? Huh. So we're gonna have one being attack. Yeah, yeah. If this is in fact the order, and I don't know why it took me this long to realize that, then yeah, let's go ahead and get you away. Oh, that got everyone away. We gained XP. That's good. Quest updated into the depths. For those of you who are just joining us, we're in the Bloom, which is near a thing that exists near a city in the Ninth World, which is about 4 billion years in the future. The Bloom is a living thing, larger than a city, or about the size of a city, that sucks people into it and interacts with them mentally and messes them up, and it's there's a lot going on here. I didn't realize we could just, you know, hop out like that. Let me heal Tiber before we do anything else. Shall I save the game also? Saving the game sounds like a great idea. Near the heart. Heart interior. Are we there yet? I'm not sure if we're there yet, but we're very close. Let's see, we are down health, so let's, that's intellect, that's speed, that's intellect, that's health. We're down by 12 points. I don't know why that took me so long. So we could use one of these. We need 1.5 of these. I'll use one of these. Oh, good, you can choose an ally. I choose myself.
Lovely.
Okay, that's better. How's everyone else? So the Castoff is, you know, is fine health-wise. Has lost 3 of his might points. And so I don't want to use this yet. Matkina hasn't lost anything, as far as I can tell, and is just 3 points down here. We can go a teeny bit longer here. Tiber is now just 4 points down. Eratis is 10 points down, so we can use one of these. But otherwise, isn't missing anything. Okay, cool. We're in pretty good shape, all things considered.
That's more like it.
Okay. Now, back to what we were doing. There's the one thing to interact with in this room, and that's it. That's what we got.
Why not?
But we can't get there yet. Ahead you see a mass of bloom tongues, bigger than any you have encountered thus far. They They wave gently as if beckoning you forward. Your companions hesitate, looking to you. Ah, interesting. Any advice? Makina says, this thing, she says, never taking her wary gaze from it, has destroyed the lives of more people than you have ever met. It's a predator. She glances at you only briefly before returning her eyes to the bloom's tendrils. Whatever you do, stay in control. Resist it. Show it you are strong. Otherwise it will swallow you whole. It'll probably swallow him whole anyway, but, well, he's come this far. How should I approach this, Tiber? You're asking me? I didn't want to come here in the first place. He wipes his forehead, his easy smile gone. Be smart, lad. You know what you came for. Don't accept any less, and don't give any more than what it's worth. That's all I got. I should have stayed in Sagas. Nothing's worth this risk. Alright. Yeah. What are you thinking, Eritus? Thinking? Nothing. A broad smile splits his face. But this is the greatest adventure a hero has ever invented, isn't it? Okay. So, I'm considering bringing Matkina in simply because she seems to get it as far as, you know, what we're looking at. As far as the approach I think we want to take, which is, you know, show it no quarter. So, I mean, I'm kind of inclined to have us going together. At the same time, I kind of want to protect everyone as well. Also, I have this fan theory, as it were, that Matkina is going to end up as the next Memavra. So that's the other reason I'm thinking of bringing Matkina in. So let's do that. Here we go. Her eyes widen. Are you insane? She looks you up and down. Perhaps you are. I will not. The bloom is a terror. If you want what it knows, you'll have to get it yourself. So we could try to persuade, saying I can't do this alone, will be okay. Or, alright, I'll respect your wishes. We'll be okay. This is interesting, right? I think actually, yeah, I think, this is rough, right? Because on the one hand, I have this sort of image in my head of this thing happening, but if she doesn't want to do it, I figure we should kind of let that be its own thing, right? This is going to be an interesting decision point that's going to haunt me for a while, I expect. Okay. We're gonna... Decision. Okay. This isn't a very good argument, is all I'm saying. We'll be okay. She Turns her guarded gaze back to the bloom without another word. Stay here, I'm going in. This is probably a terrible idea. Before you looms a twisted mass of tubes, arteries, roots, and tongues, heaving and pulsing in the murky light. The flesh glimmers with foul shades of purple and black, pocked with pustules and necrosis. Bloom whispers gather, swarming over you like flies, buzzing and chittering and hissing, millions of them. All the voices that comprise the bloom's mind are converging in this one place. As you step closer, bloom tongues surround you, drawing you into a wet, nauseating embrace. Though they seem solid and corporeal, they somehow pass through your flesh, thrusting into your head, your limbs, and your guts, igniting prickly, hot-cold sensations all over your body. A multitude of bloom voices hiss and babble with rage. You cannot understand their words, but their meaning is clear. You don't belong here. The voices inside your mind invade your mind, sweeping aside your thoughts, establishing themselves within. I'm not here to fight you. I'm looking for a man called Ishan. I think you have him. Try to pull the tongues out of your body. Resist the voices. Don't resist. Or, light weapons, slash at the heart with a transdimensional scalpel. Once again. Rip one of the bloom tongues out of the heart with might, or just resist the voices. I think resisting the voices is probably going to be the best initial thing to do here. I think if I sit here saying this, it's going to burrow further in. So, let's do this. Ooh. Alright. 85. 100. You grip the magnetic amulet, thankfully, and close your eyes, focusing your whole consciousness on a single thought. Get out. Your thought is magnified by the amulet, cutting through the cacophony of bloom voices. You think the words again. Get out. This time your inner voice drowns out theirs. They chitter and buzz in confusion, their onslaught broken. Now you command them. Get out. Now. At once the voices turn to hisses of frustration and shrieks of rage, and they flee from your mind. The voices become more distant. They whisper and buzz to each other, barely audible, like a vast conclave that is locked away behind a heavy door. You find that you can move again, albeit slowly and awkwardly, constrained by the wriggling tongues that have merged with your flesh. Show no regression, wait for the bloom to turn his attention to you again. Or we could just infiltrate the bloom's mind. Or, there's always that scalpel. Try to pull the bloom tongues out. No, that's how we're communicating. Somewhat. We're gonna... No, I'm going in. We're doing it. 80%'s not bad. But, we're close to the end here. We're doing it. And we've got a bunch of... we've got that... we've got stuff we can use to recharge. Slowly, carefully, you extend your thoughts into the tubes and conduits of the heart, gently testing your ability to contract a muscle here or widen an artery there. You can hear the bloom voices all around you, but they don't seem alarmed. Either they don't sense you at all, or they don't perceive your intrusion as a threat. Oh boy, choices. As you explore the limits of your new perceptions, you begin to understand the heart's composition, the fleshy nodules that serve as sensory organs, the tubes and arteries to feed the intelligence that dwells here, the roots of innumerable whispering minds that descend into this spot from every corner of the bloom, tangling together to join their voices into a mad, chaotic union. We can search the bloom's thoughts for the abducted scholar Ishan, which is, I believe, who we were looking for, I think. Try to take control of the sensory organs around the heart. Try to take control of the arteries that lead into the heart. Examine the bloom's memories. Observe the heart as a biological system and watch for patterns. Observe the bloom voices and try to understand what they are. Drift out of the bloom's mind. And we're going for Ishan. That's why we're here, I think. We're here for the first. Is the first Ishan? I forget. It's been too long. The first Castoff. We are the last Castoff, searching for the first Castoff. Yeah, I don't know what taking control of these things would let us do as of yet. We might need to do that shortly. Let's go. I'm going to conserve a little here. Because 80%, again, is not bad. While your thoughts are joined to the bloom's, you can almost understand its voices. A whisper will spark a fleeting image in your mind's eye. A hiss will elicit a flash of anger or desire or some alien emotion that you can't even comprehend. As you listen and watch, you see occasional images of a vague human figure. When you focus on them, try to hold them still, you see an isolated pocket of flesh, a cyst filled with thick black juices in which the man floats, curled up like a fetus. Okay. The cyst is wrapped carefully in fleshy tendrils and knotted muscles, watched closely by tiny chittering minds that were spawned for exactly this purpose. Alright. See, now might be the time to take control of the sensory organs, just so that those chittering minds don't give us trouble. Or we can just directly try to get control of those fibers and muscles and deal with it. This is interesting. Okay. Examine the bloom's memories. I mean, that's not a bad idea. The only problem here is I never know what options they're going to give us as we head around here, you know? Let's just go the direct route for now, and we'll see where we end up. This is important. Moving slowly and cautiously, you follow the faint whispers of the tiny chittering minds that watch over Ishin. They're not far from the heart, centered around a foul little cyst, just as you suspected. When they sense your approach, they squeal in alarm, but you overwhelm and silence them. Great, okay. You sense the remains of the transdimensional rift in the cyst, probably the same rift that the bloom used to capture Ishin in the first place. It should be possible to reopen the rift and set him free, but the bloom will know when you do. Okay. So we can do that, and that's probably going to cut things off. While we're here, this could be a horrible mistake, we can examine the bloom's memories, which I'd like to do. Yeah. Let's do that. I'm just going to go up to 85 for this one. Alright. Floating unnoticed among the bloom's innumerable voices, you allow yourself to drift deeper into its mind. As the voices whisper amongst themselves, you begin to see brief images, to hear sounds and feel hunger or satiation. These are its memories of the past. Screams echo in your ears as men and women are pulled into maws, their thoughts and personalities devoured, or simply altered, scrambled, changed into monstrous forms. You see limbs torn from bodies by eager bloom tongues, eyes plucked out so that tendrils can slide gently into their sockets to reach the brains. For a moment you see Gristler, the bloom guide, trapped in the embrace of a maw, and you can taste the raw flesh of his legs as the maw tears them off and devours them. You know in that moment that the bloom will eat him again and again, reveling in the taste of his undying faith that it will provide for him, a faith that is so ill-founded. You got XP from that. And everywhere you see and hear the Mamavra, flashes of her early days, gathering followers to overthrow the old Mamavra, while publicly pledging her loyalty to him, her rebellion against him as she slaughtered his people and dragged him down to the heart, binding him so that the tongues could feed upon him slowly, and all the years of her ruthless rule. In all that time, she has never changed. Her face is the same now as it was when the bloom first saw her. Drift even deeper into the bloom's memories. I got XP for that. Ooh, or we could refocus back on the heart. I must know more. All around you, whispers and chitters yield to more alien sounds, clicks and gurgles and dissonant tones. The memories change with them. Monsters stalk the corridors of the bloom, gelatinous husks with flickering letters and numbers writhing beneath their skin. Interesting. Multi-limbed machines with legs that skitter through 100 dimensions at once. Godlings formed from city-killing detonations, with voices of fire and smoke and screams. And my blue tide went up. That's good. A tiny amount. Flashing before your eyes are all the worlds the bloom has seen in their hundreds of thousands. You can sense the city creature crawling across time and dimensions since the universe was young, perhaps longer. Its voices changing, its flesh adapting, its senses changing. We have bitten off some... Oh my god. Well, wait. Your mind begins to hurt, barely able to comprehend the sensory impressions that are contained within the most distant memories. Fighting the urge to scream, you disengage at last, allowing yourself to drift slowly back to the surface of the Bloom's mind. And yet, even with that brief exposure, your senses have broadened, and you are better able to comprehend the impossible. Not even your sire dared to gaze so deep into an alien mind. And we have permanently gained 2 intellect pool. Our maximum intellect is up. Oh, power! Ah. Taking control of these things might be helpful. There's so much. There's so much. Okay. I want to observe the... I do want to do these observations, if it'll let me. And see what I can find out. For a time, you listen carefully to the booming pulse of the heart and observe its movements, but it teaches you little more than you already know. Fluids are pumped here from elsewhere in the Bloom, and they seem to feed the many-voiced intelligence that resides in the heart. A deeper understanding of this process is beyond you. Okay. I wonder how different this would have been if we'd brought Metkina. I don't know. Maybe we'll never find out. We'll find out eventually. But I don't know if I'll find out on stream, but we'll see. Fluids are pumped here from elsewhere in the Bloom. Intelligence. Okay. Yeah. Observe the Bloom voices and try to understand what they are. This could be dangerous. Mystical lore. You attend closely to the innumerable voices chittering and whispering in the darkness of the Bloom's mind. Each of these voices is a tiny intelligence, a semi-autonomous piece of the Bloom's consciousness, and there are millions of them, perhaps tens of millions. The Bloom can spawn them at will, increasing its ability to think and perceive, planting them into maws and tongues and organs. It can also devour them, cannibalizing its own screaming minds. Dang. Also, useful. You're this kind of organism. We got XP! Contemplating the Bloom's intelligence as a whole, you have an impression of a mind that is always shifting, never constant, giving birth to countless fragments of itself, even as it devours others. Okay, now we have these options left to us. When I open this prison, the Bloom will know. So maybe we should try to take control of some things first. This is a terrible idea. We'll start with the sensory organs. 80% is not bad. Quietly, cautiously, you extend your consciousness into the bloated little sacs that quiver on the surface of the heart and within its many conduits. If you wished, you could put them into a sort of slumber that would make it harder for the Bloom to sense your presence. That is a great idea. But I'm going to do this as well. This I'm going to kick one into. To get the arteries also. Taking great care to avoid detection, you slip your thoughts into the tubes and arteries, assuming control of them. These fluids feed the intelligences that coalesce here. If you choose to do so, you could contract all the arteries at once, depriving them of energy. Okay. So this is where it comes down to... Are we going to murder the Bloom, I guess is the question. We're now in a position to do it if we want. I think the order of operations, so... If we were being as mercenary as we possibly could, being more like the Changing God, we would just do this step and that would be it. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put the sensory organs to sleep. We're going to open the prison. And then if we have trouble, we'll close off the tubes. But we're not here to kill the bloom, necessarily. Potentially we could do it. Potentially also, I mean, it would release these, you know, anyone that's suffering inside, although it's argued that they're so far gone now that it could be argued they're so far gone now that they're, you know, who knows what would happen to them at that point. If it would even be a life. I'm going to go ahead and put all the organs to sleep. We're going to try that first and hope that this is the correct order. 2, then 1, then perhaps 3. All over the heart, the blubbery nodules slowly deflate, sinking into torpor. To your relief, the bloom makes no sound of alarm. We shall reopen the rift in Ishin's prison and set him free. You whisper softly to the rift, and it begins to take shape. Ishin stirs, and the knotted muscles that surround his cyst tremble with alarm. The heart is slow to respond, thanks to your limited control of its functions. But as the rift is about to open, thousands of chittering voices hiss in rage. They rock the cyst to and fro, causing the rift to unravel again. At once, bloom voices rise all around you, shrieking and chittering, trying to cast you out of its mind. Oh no. Not this time. Resist. Try to maintain your presence in the bloom's mind. We're at 95%. You see, this is why it's been so vital that we read everything so that we could get enough XP and enough intellect to do this kind of stuff throughout this game. The bloom's innumerable voices swarm over you, but your will is strong and you stand firm. A terrible groan, like the cry of some undersea leviathan, shakes the whole heart. Then the voices go quiet and a scene begins to play out in your mind's eye. A memory stolen by the bloom from someone else. The perspective is a woman's, and she is speaking to a man. You recognize the changing god at once, though his body is an old one from long ago. Ooh. Ah! The pair stand upon a circle of gold, the sky overcast and clouded above them. Mille Avest. Not even your handiwork is proof against time, murmurs the woman, turning her face from the changing god to hide it. I am a monster, she thinks, rotting from the outside in. No, Maralel, says the changing god. I have no way of fixing you, but you need not live in shame. He reaches into a pouch, and the woman knows that he means to give her something. His gifts are always wondrous, but if you accept them, you are never the same again. The changing god hands her a mask. The expression is enigmatic, she notes, just as their relationship has become. A pretty thing, she says, feeling bitter, disappointed. I can just as well wrap my face in bandages or cover my head with a sack. Put it on, he insists. Of course, she realizes there is something more to this gift. She raises it to her face. The memory stops, cut off by the bloom. Its voices chitter, insistent. They want you to finish it, to recall your sire's memory of this event. See, this too is an interesting decision point. Because if we do this, if we help the bloom find this memory, it could tell us some things, but it also might give the changing god more room than we want to give the changing god in our labyrinth, in our brain. Or we could just demand that the bloom release Ishin. Against my better judgment, I think we're going to try to complete the memory because I really want to know what happened. See, blue tide, there we go. You delve into your hidden memories, seeking the moment the bloom had just showed you. To your surprise, the bloom voices are beside you, helping you focus, pushing aside similar memories that distract you. I'm very worried about this. At last, the memory surfaces. It isn't exactly as the woman remembered. The details are different, like the color of her robe and sky above, clear and blue in your sire's recollection, but now you recognize her for who she is. Maralel, the first Castoff. Blue tide has been raised a small amount. She holds the mask you gave her. Put it on, you hear yourself say, and she places the mask over her face. At once it seems to meld with her flesh, and her face becomes that of a lovely young woman. Her eyes widen, knowing that something has changed. And you hold up a looking glass for her to see. She laughs aloud, a sound you haven't heard from her in years. You can change your face at will, you say to her. Try it. Marilel nods, watching the looking glass carefully as her face morphs into that of an old woman, then a homely beggar lady, then of Argellan, and a dozen more. The last face you see is dark-haired, regal in bearing. It is the face of the Mamavra. Accompanied by a distinct sense of hunger from the bloom, the memory fades. Well, we just gave the bloom something that it wanted, and unfortunately, it's, yeah. How is that possible? It is possible. If the current Mamavra is the first Castoff, they just sent us in here to die, I guess. Or to deal with it for her. She's been hiding out this whole time. This would be very interesting if Matt Kena were with us right now. This is going to be a problem. Just the timing of it, right? It's... I don't know. Well, then again, we don't know exactly how much time has passed between bodies. I mean, for all we know... You know, for all we know, the changing god goes through bodies like tissues. But no, the changing god's history is over a very long period of time. Long before our times, both the first Castoffs and Matt Kena's. This is nuts. The heart offers no explanation as to why it showed you this memory, but the implication is clear. The Mamavra is merely a disguise, a mask that conceals the first Castoff. She has been alive, hiding behind a false identity for years. Now we can try to ask the bloom why it showed you the memory, or demand that it release Ishin. I kind of want to know. You try to form the question the way the bloom will understand. Oh, hey, there it is. But you either fail or it ignores you. Instead, the air in the chamber ripples. At once, a transdimensional rift tears itself into being, and a human figure topples out, dripping black juices, coughing and gagging, vomiting on the floor. You recognize the man at once. It's Castoff, the Castoff artificer you met in Zarian Daywalker's mirror. Your first thought is that the bloom has somehow tricked you, released the wrong man, but no. The bloom's voices are insistent. Ishin is Castoff. The first Castoff concealed the truth from you to avoid arousing your suspicion. For the moment, Castoff is recovering from his ordeal, barely aware of his surroundings. He hasn't even seen you yet. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you know, what is a geological eon or two between friends? That is the question. Hi, by the way. We're getting close. We're kind of at the climax denouement? I'm not sure. One of those words. As we're discovering things. I really wish I remembered everything I wanted to remember about Castoff, because there was a lot. There were like 2 or 3 different instances where the name came up and we were looking for him in that mirror. And unfortunately it's been so long that I can't remember everything. Hell, even the recent stuff I'm having trouble with. The bloom tongues slide painlessly out of your body, setting you free. They show no further interest in you, and the whispering voices are gone from your mind. Wow. Castoff the Lost. Castoff rises, clutching himself, and he abruptly vomits a clot of black fluid onto the glistening flesh beneath his feet. Small red wounds mar the flesh between the wires, crisscrossing his skin. Gods, he growls. Gods! He looks up at you. His mechanical eye sockets spin, wheels within wheels, focusing on your face. You're the Castoff that was riding Zarian Daywalker. What the hell are you doing down here? How did you recognize me? I thought I was rescuing someone named Ishin, but here you are instead. Does it matter? You're safe now. Saving you. How did you recognize me? Muscle movements, he says, grimacing, small variations on expression. As good as a signature for those who know what to look for. He coughs more of the black fluid against the back of his wrist. You didn't answer me. What are you doing down here? Saving you. We could just say that. I am going to go ahead and say, I thought I was rescuing someone named Ishin, but here you are instead. I think we'll do that. This is terrible. This is a terrible idea. We're going ahead. Yeah, that's me, he says. It's a nickname short for Ishenizar because I look like one, whatever it is. But no one calls me that except... He pauses, smirks. The first sent you, didn't she? Not surprised. She won't be getting the resonance chamber working on her own. It's all too easy to destroy the damn thing if you don't know what you're doing. Something about the words said in his voice stirs a memory in you. Resonance chamber. Resonance chamber. The sensation builds. No! God! Much better to destroy the resonance chamber. He winces, teeth clenched. Gods, the bloom is a terrible host. Stuck its damn tongues into my guts to force feed me. Filled my lungs with bile, not sure what you did to get me out, but thank you. He spits a black-tinged wad of phlegm over his shoulder. Well, how do we get out of here? She's waiting, and you know how she is. Hold on. How did you end up a prisoner to begin with? Yeah, we found out from Massoff how to, in that mirror, how to repair the resonance chamber. But we kind of don't want to repair the resonance chamber, because if we did, then that would let the changing god do what he wants. How'd you end up a prisoner to begin with? I don't know, actually. I thought I was working for the Mamavra until just a few minutes ago. I'm not sure how we're going to get out of here. Not yet, anyway. How did you end up... Yeah, I'm going to ask this first. The bloom took me, he said with a careless shrug. Not a surprise. It's not happy with the first, but you probably already know that. So it took me because it knows I'm important to her. He says this casually and without the faintest hint of pride. She took me because it knows I'm important to her. Anyway, I should go get back to the first. She's going to be... He waves a hand. Well, you know. I don't know, actually. I thought I was working for the Mamavra just 2 minutes ago. I'm not sure how we're going to get out of here. You know what? Yeah, I can't... I've got to take the bait. I've got to take the bait. His expression goes wooden. Skist, he says, rubbing his forehead. Look, don't tell her I said anything. I don't need anyone shouting at me right now, let alone her. This is the worst headache I've ever had. But a headache is uncoiling through your head now as well. Alarm spreads over Massoff's face as he reaches out to catch you as you topple forward. You're underwater. The fading pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water, then is gone. An invisible pressure crushes your body, squeezing your head. A Gibra with a Castoff's tattoo rises from the dark to confront you. I should have known. You need something of ours to finish your resonance chamber, don't you, Father? He regards you with scorn. You haven't learned anything. You would sacrifice all of us for a chance at survival, you and the first. Pride blinds you both. Yeah. Thank you for making it clear. Yeah, It's... Yeah, it's gonna kill everybody. You're wrong, Tom, you snarl. Yet his words frighten you. Is he saying Marlel's alive, with her own plan to stop the sorrow? She must be stopped. Any plan of hers would be dangerous. I've built the resonance chamber to save us all, you say. It has the power to weaken the sorrow. I can kill the creature. A half-truth. The chamber certainly has the power, but who knows if it would be enough to kill. Will you apologize to me then, senseless child? Will you beg my forgiveness? I don't know. I'm trying to go back and remember if the Changing God, when we interacted with him briefly as the thing in our head, confirmed that the resonance chamber is going to kill everybody. Because, or did we find that out independently? Ah! I don't know. Okay. Will you apologize to me then, selfish child? Will you beg my forgiveness? Oh, XP. You lie, you always have, Thumb says. You lie, you always have. I need to read ahead. You lie, you always have, Thumb says calmly. Tom says calmly, although your motives differ, Marilel's plan and yours will result in the same end, the destruction of every last Castoff. I will not allow this to happen. He makes a complicated gesture with his fingers, and the pressure on your head increases. Tom's voice grows muffled and fades as your mind, your sire's consciousness, flees his imprisoned body, abandoning it to the Gibra in favor of a new host. Oh. You return to consciousness, the headache fading. Your mouth tastes of seawater or blood. Oh, that opened. Light and wet heat bathes the side of your face as the bloom opens a trans-dimensional portal. You can't be sure where it leads, but it's certainly your only way out. Someone, Mazov, is bracing you, holding you up. You alright? Mazov, what is the First's plan with the chamber? I'm fine, I'll see you later. No. We need to know this now. To sever the... He gives you an odd look. You know, maybe you should ask her. I don't know enough about what's going on here. Just know that it'll free us from the sorrow, without sucking us all into someone else's mind. That should be enough. He shrugs. She can't do it without me, though. I best be getting back. Yeah... This is a problem, because if it actually does end up killing everyone, then that can't be allowed to happen either. This sucks. This sucks so much. And we gotta deal with the sorrow one way or another. Don't know. Patting you awkwardly on the shoulder, he limps past you into the portal and vanishes. It's only when he's gone that you see the glittering contours of a small object lying where Masov was standing. A Merecaster. Oh no! No, not another one! Isn't there more room in your head? I'm sure there must be. Another Merecaster! Yay! It must have fallen from Masov's pockets. You wipe the slime from the joints of the machine and add it to your belongings. A frictionless Merecaster. Yet another mirror to dive into. This spherical object is made of an unfamiliar gold-greenish metal. The object seems to be constantly moving, rotating in different directions, but when you hold it, you cannot feel the slightest hint of friction. You feel the click and whir of countless mechanisms moving within the device, generating an almost intolerable heat. Oh my god. So exhausting. Okay. Okay. Yay. Quest was updated. I'm gonna save the game now. Also, hang on just a sec. Forgot to turn up the AC. Not bursting into flames helps. Generally. There's so much more coming then. Hang on. Oh wait, I lost the captions. Let me reset them. There we go. Okay. There's so much happening here. Okay. Oh boy. This is a thing. This is definitely a thing. All right. 1 second. I need to fix something. It's a little too shiny right now. There. Okay. Yeah, I mean we're still in this weird sort of box, but that's all right. Okay, back to this. Let's check our quest situation. Oh, that was a nice negotiation. Let's go back and mess with the bloom again. No, let's not. Okay. Now I shall cut off its arteries. Are we circling the whirlpool now? I don't know. There's so much. As hard as anything that was on his tongue to be able to establish a mental leak, seize control of it, then commanded to release some of Auber's missing scholar. Yep. I freed Ishan from the Bloom's heart. It turns out that he is actually Mazoff, a fellow Castoff who I have encountered before, and the Mamavra is really the first Castoff, who has been hiding in the Bloom for years. It's time to return to her fortress and confront her. I saw a memory when I found Mazoff, a Gibra Castoff named Tom. Tom? I'm going to say Tom. Told the changing god that both his plans and the first's would destroy all the Castoffs. My sire also said the resonance chamber could be used to weaken the sorrow, possibly enough to kill it. But is there a way to do that without destroying the Castoffs? I do not know. I do not. How are we doing? How are we all doing? I just want to see if there are new dialogue options.
I never got along with the Memovira. Why she always seemed to be mocking me.
Memovira?
It's because she knew who I was. She knew, and she planned her betrayal all along. And she was right next to me.
Yep.
I should have slit her throat. I should have shoved her into a maw.
Well, there it is. I will slit her throat, even if it's my last act in this world. That's in the past. What we need from her now is truth. You'll get your chance. If she's been hiding this long, she must have plans. We need to take that into account. She didn't count on you, I'm sure of it. You're unraveling that skein of lies. She grabs your skirt, your shirt, and pulls you close. She's the creator of our problems. She sent us to the Bloom's heart to be rid of us because she knew that we'd either find Mazoff or die. And either way, she comes out ahead. So now we need to change those plans. She releases you, steps back, and brushes the wrinkles out. I have faith in you, kid. You and me. We're going to stop that bitch. Blue tide raises a small amount. Yay! Come on, let's go. So, this is interesting. I have forgotten what Melmoth is. Yes and no, I wanted to make something of myself, look at all our siblings, what they've done, and here I was, simple thief, hiding in the country, making no name for myself, making no difference in the world. I didn't want to be a ruler, I didn't want to be a king, I just wanted to be something. She remembers laughter. You talked to Melmoth, pragmatist, not much for half measures. He said that if I wanted to make a name for myself, use my natural talents and make a difference. He knew a way for me to help. She shakes her head. I'd fought and killed before, but it was in the heat of the moment. Usually I'd never taken money for it. My first kill for coin, it was... she taps her lip. It was liberating. I was good at it. I don't think we asked this particular chain of questions about Melmoth before. I've forgotten who Melmoth is. It was like it was something I'd been born to do. And who knows, maybe it was. Before long they started calling me the White Death. People feared me, and I was not happy, maybe content. Her face darkens. And then Yolen, Melmoth's second, told me Melmoth was plotting against me. So I struck back at him. She stares down at you defiant. That's what happened. Whether I was right or wrong, that's history. Enough of that. You want anything else? What's the history between you and Melmoth? You want to know what happened with Melmoth? You want to know why I find it so hard to trust Castoffs? We're all too damn prickly. Melmoth and I had this damn feud for over a century. It could have been resolved by either one of us just opening up and saying something. But look, here's how it happened. I came back here after the first died. Since I couldn't kill her myself... Well, she didn't really die, though, did she? I looked for something else to do with my life. Everyone here told me accrue power, like I knew how to do that. Melmoth told me he'd show me, help me build an enterprise if I'd help him. I agreed. He taught me how to kill people. He helped me become the White Death. He made me famous. Then someone reported me to the levies. Maybe it was Yolen, maybe not, but Melmoth could have said something to me when it all went sour. Instead, we went to war. Just one betrayal among many. Castoffs can't be trusted, not even me. So, who do you... He's not to blame, McKinney. You are. Who do you blame now? He should have spoken to you. It was his business. He should have known what was happening. You've spoken now. At least you've worked out a truth. Truth? He should have spoken to you. It was his business. He should have known what was happening. So who do you blame now? She shrugs helplessly. I don't know. Him? Me? Our whole carked family? Years blaming him. Years just thrown down the sewers. Don't suppose you'd be willing to fix that too? She smirks a little. I hope he was serious about letting it slide away. I liked him beneath all of that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all we want for right now. Great. Holding up okay?
What's on your mind?
I think we're good. Okay. There we are. I'm just going to save over that. Oof. Man. I just, there's so much. There's so much happening. So much happens all the time. Is that the meme? I can't remember. Yeah, now I'm just going to save over that. There we go. I need to know. I need to know what our angle is here. Because this is going to be an issue. Oh, that's Melmoth Loving Arm. Oh, that's Melmoth. Okay. I remember Melmoth now. The Mamavra. The ruler of the Bloom is a crime lord known as the Mamavra. The Mamavra is not a name, but a title. It is passed to many individuals throughout history. As such, not every Mamavra rules the bloom in the same manner, but they all are all bonded to the bloom and lead only by its favor. Okay. Well, here we go. We're going to head out now.
Yes. Now.
If an enemy is armored, change up the damage type of your attacks with abilities or ciphers to overcome it. We've got to be close to the end at this point. We've got to be. Oh, hey. Oh, we're back here now. I wonder if I should have gone ahead and shut off those arteries. Don't mind us, we're just going to quietly murder the bloom for a little while. Alright. We're back here. Now I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid there's stuff we need to do down here. Do we just waltz directly in? Or do we try to fix some things before we waltz directly in? I think that, I mean, we saw the, what's the replayability on this game? I don't know. Because there may be some paths not taken. I feel as though maybe there's a little bit in going back and seeing a couple of things. Like for example, I don't know what happened with, you know, we could have taken someone into the heart with us to talk to the heart. And so I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is just grabbing side stuff more than anything else, so I think the main stuff is always going to be the same, probably. I don't know about the very ending. There may be different endings, but
This is time better spent pantsless and drinking.
just sort of things to find out. What will you give me for the amulet? No, we don't need to worry about that. I do want to talk to what's his name? Is it Gibra, or am I pulling that from the wrong place? What's the person's name? No, that's a type of, okay, that's a category. I know where he is. We're gonna go see if he's still up there. Just because we saw that vision of him in the heart, and I kind of want to, not that this is gonna help, but kind of want to talk some sense into him. The guide. Before we dive, you know, directly at the Mamavra. Gristler. Yes, let's stand right there again. Gristler nods as you approach, smiling lopsidedly. Yep, still here. Something you need? You're not gonna let me help? Ah, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, never mind. All right. I guess that I guess they're beyond hope. You know, there is someone else I want to check in with before we do this, just in case. Yeah. what I thought.
All right.
Few return alive and whole from the depths, yet here you are, she smiles. I never doubted you, Castoff. I found this hammer outside the Bloom's heart. I think it belonged to Sheila. Her eyes widen. Yes, it is. But she never would have left it behind. She grabs your hand. Did you see Sheila? Was she there? Can it be? Has she returned? No, she'd never have parted with it. It must be a fake. No, only the hammer, nothing more. I saw human bones with silver scales around them. I mean, you gotta tell the truth here. And the correct tides went up. Good. That can't be right. The Whisper said she'd come back. The Spec's voice is very, very soft, and for the first time you can't hear the chittering of the Bloom behind her words. She sways on her feet, trying to steady herself. No, they've lied. How long have they lied? Am I even who I know? Yeah. So we could try to persuade and deceive? You don't know for sure that she's dead. If I've learned anything in the Bloom, it's that the normal rules don't apply here. So we can try that. Or we could say, it's been centuries, you had to know that Sheila was dead. The Bloom is playing games with your mind, it lied to you. Reach out your arms to support her. There are several options here. Also, this is interesting. Dagnabbit. Ah! I have thoughts about this. I don't want to be deceptive here. I don't know, though. I mean, doing this would get us something, maybe. This would definitely push and drain. You had to know Sheila was dead. I'm just going to try to support her. Damn it! Wrong tide. You gently wrap your arms around the Spec's trembling shoulders. She's even tinier and frailer than you realize, or perhaps she's only become so now. Why would they lie? Why reveal themselves now? What purpose does it all serve? Gold tide. I'm trying not to get gold tide, and it keeps happening because I can't stop myself. Am I the Spec? Was I someone else before? Was the Bloom keeping me here? What does it want? She turns to you, eyes pleading for answers. Their otherworldly gleam has completely gone out. Who am I? It doesn't matter. Listen to the whispers of the Bloom. They'll make you forget your questions. Oh, God! What do the tide colors represent? Pain and suffering. I'll pull it up in a moment. I have to... unfortunately, I can't get out of here to look at it, but... I think... See, gold, I think, is more of the... is like, involves caring about people. And blue involves intellect and trying to reason through things. And indigo means doing, basically trying to think in a very broad terms in terms of what is best for humanity or what have you, or just for the collective good. And then we have silver that I can't quite remember what silver is, and red is aggression. And I'll go back and look at them in a moment to confirm that, and hopefully I can see that. The way I've been trying to play this particular character, which, it's a video game. You can only get so far with that kind of thing. I've been trying to aim him more toward blue and indigo, but unfortunately what I've got is blue and gold as his primary, this version of the character is his primary tides. And because I've been too damn nice to everyone. Taking advantage of my sappy caring. Oh well. You're a storyteller, keeper of legends. Even if Sheila is dead, her stories are worth preserving. I don't know. I think you're just an old woman who lost herself a long time ago. Leave this place and find out for yourself. I mean, I'm somewhat tempted to do this. Because caring is such a terrible weakness. I know, right? I'm tempted to say, leave this place and find out for yourself. I'm also tempted to say you're a storyteller, a keeper of legends, just because that's valuable. I don't know what to tell them. Okay. Let's see. I mean, that's the thing, is sort of telling the person that what they've been doing has value it's good for them in a way, but then it might be better for them to get them to go and find out who they are. Okay. I think I'm going to go with this one because it feels like it's more the quote-unquote right answer. Not that there are such things here. And it also got me blue-tied, which of course is helpful. She nods slowly. You notice that her eyes are clouded, her movement slower than before. She is old now. I thought I was telling those stories so that people would know her when she returned, but she's gone, and my words are all that remain. The Speck looks away. I suppose that's a legacy of a sort, but not the one I would have chosen. Ooh. Yeah, so the tides. The dominant tides are blue and gold. The blue tide represents wisdom, reason, and enlightenment. People attuned to this tide seek information and the preservation of knowledge in all forms, whether scientific or spiritual. Scholars, teachers, guides, and mystics are often attuned to this tide. The gold tide represents empathy, compassion, and sacrifice. Weaknesses! No. People attuned to this tide consider the needs of those they care about to be greater than any other consideration. Martyrs, philanthropists, avengers, and guardians are often attuned to this tide. So I was kind of imagining this character when even... I have vague memories even of when I, like, almost like a couple of years ago when I started playing this game. Because it lets you build the character from scratch at the beginning, right? So you're in this cavern that helps you out with its various adaptive things that happen in there to give you an idea of what sort of identity you want to assign to this character from the beginning, and that determines if you are among other things, a nano, which I am, or a jack, which Tiber is, and which Matkina is, or a glaive, which is what Eratis is. But I decided I wanted to go the nano route, and I decided it would be interesting to have someone who is good with machines, but also knows some things about the mystical world, and then is kind of coldly analytical, but does want the best for everyone, which is why I was kind of more aiming toward blue and indigo tides. But unfortunately, my weak pathetic human soul of the problem existing between the chair and the keyboard has decreed that has always gone the route of being kind to NPCs, because I just can't bear it. So sort of trying, and as I'm sitting here trying to do the right thing, you know, so. It is as it is, such as it is. I'm looking to see if it's got descriptions of the other tides here somewhere in the codex, and I don't think it does. Yeah, maybe more priestly than wizardly, perhaps, if one looks at the traditional archetypes. Because this is like locations and its characters and its companions, but it's not going to describe the tides here. So I can't... Unfortunately, I cannot describe them from here, from within the game. But I could... Wait. I could open a thing that tells me what the tides are. Here's a wiki and everything. So the blue tide is linked to wisdom, reason, enlightenment, knowledge, and mysticism. Philosophers and madmen both can be linked to this tide. The gold tide, tide that represents empathy, compassion, charity, and sacrifice. Those attuned to this tide can just as well be philanthropists as they can be crime lords who care for their community for their own gain. Indigo tide, the tide symbolizing justice, equity, compromise, and the greater good. Lawmakers as well as tyrants can be associated with this tide. Red tide, the tide representing emotion, passion, action, pathos, and zeal. Those associated with this tide can be artists, revolutionaries, or zealots. And the silver tide, it says the tide linked to fame, admiration, and power. Okay. I didn't think of those as emotions, but whatever. Or impulses. Those attuned to this tide want to leave their mark on history or influence others. Okay. Weird, but there it is. Okay. So those are the tides, in brief. Cody doing okay? Cody wields a broom and wears strange new clothes. Hey, you came back. We're just basically the same thing. It's fine, not great, but fine. Okay, good. The old woman glances up as you approach, but you can barely see her in the gloom. So cold, so tired, so incontinent. Jeez. Her eyes no longer glitter, and her body is stooped and trembling. She looks like she would crumble to dust in a strong wind. Hey, Castoff, is it you? You don't look well. The whispers have left me, she murmurs. Her own voice is little more than a sigh. The chitters of the bloom no longer echo her words. I think they were holding me together, in a sense. Is it better to die knowing the truth? Perhaps. Perhaps it is past time. I should have told her to leave and find out who she was. Will you tell me a story about Sheila? No more stories, Castoff. She tries to gesture around her, but she is unable to raise her arm above her waist. Sheila's chronicles will be my voice, she wheezes, trying to breathe from now on. Does Sheila matter? Does any of it? I don't. So cold. Oh, good lord. Can I sleep here? You really don't look well. Are you sure you can't tell me a story? She shakes her head, a hint of her mischievous smile crinkling the edge of her mouth. A suspenseful story, that would be. She coughs. Will the spec die in the midst of the telling, or make it to the end? You really don't look well. She's racked by a fit of coughing, and one of her teeth lands at your feet. I'm old, Castoff. I don't think there will be any more specs after me. Great, you did such a good job. Great, that was awesome. Maybe we should have maybe we should have convinced her to just keep listening to the... This is so not good. Farewell. Dang. Okay. Well, that was delightful.
Ready.
I'm so glad we stopped off here and ruined this poor woman's life. Who else's lives can we ruin now that we know more things? It is interesting. I do feel like now I do kind of want to go the rounds and just go around and see if I can find out anything before we go and tackle the Mamavra. See how everyone else is doing in case there are changes, which I know, sort of going down side tunnels a lot here, but this may be the last chance. Okay, nothing new here. Okay, we're good. Thankfully, we've already done most of the shopping we want to do. You can always feed the slaves to them. Yeah, we could do that. Feed people to the maw. That would be fine, wouldn't it? Sure it would. It would not be fine. Okay, next. Let's see. We have the trade post, we have the old slave block, we have the Kyurgen slump. Little Neeliash. I don't know that there's anything down there that would be of help to say to anyone.
On it.
I just keep wanting to burrow through and find all of the side content. I know it's terrible. It's terrible. Why do I do this to myself? The silver tide represents admiration of power and seekers of fame. It is the tide of people who seek to influence the lives of others, who actively seek to be remembered. Where were you 10 minutes ago? Mutant, spiny mutant. Mutant, spiny mutant. Okay. Let's see. Anything else we want to know from anyone? I kind of also want to go to the labyrinth. Would you like to feed on any more of my relationships? No! No, we're good there. Anything else we need to learn from Crimper? As is the case with pretty much anyone. Steal his music box? No, we're not going to do that. We're not that terrible a person. We're a terrible person, we're just not that terrible. Yeah, we kind of killed the ghosts in there, sort of. No, we didn't kill them, we just gave them a new home. Anything we need to tell Garkodo? Sure, tell me that theory again. Oh, yeah, Numenera. Sure, possibly. Let's see, anything else we need to talk to anyone else about? No people over there, Jim. It was brave of you to save the knight, Herja, I mean. She could have made a mess of herself. She would have been as happy to be dead. She wasn't in her right mind. It would have been wrong to let her kill herself. Killing herself would have deprived her of the opportunity to atone for her crimes. Maybe, but I didn't want her to die. Yeah, we'll do this one. Yes, Indigo! You're right, I think. Just giving her life wasn't enough. She needs to help her victims. Her voice is fierce. Would even that make it better, though? If Frung tried to make it right, would I? I'm gonna harvest that indigo wherever we can. Hope it overtakes my goodness. It sadly probably won't. Escape through the dark places is dangerous. Yeah, this is stuff we already know. Okay. Stuff we have already talked about. Oh hey, look, there's a maw. Don't go in there. That goes to the Lost Anchorage, which is empty now because they decided that this was their home.
Let's go.
Okay. Back up this way.
On it.
And through here. So we got to there was a little dialogue there for there's a little bit to be harvested there. There was a little bit. Let me see. Go
I
here.
handle it.
On it. I'm going.
Okay.
Gladly.
Okay, no, this is mostly, again, same stuff. Okay, that's all we want. You know, basically all the same stuff.
Go.
That's the only person left here. That was a healthy amount of slaughter that we committed earlier. Good lord. Okay. Yeah, at this
Yes.
point I don't think there's much else we're going to be able to gather, but one never knows. Mostly just curious about anything else from Sheen. Yeah, it's mostly just, do you have items? Okay.
Yes.
I think we're probably going to be good here. I don't think there's really anything. And I mean, you know, we could go back to the trading post, but I don't think that's going to be helpful at all. I think we've sucked the dialogue trees dry at this point. We're actually nearly at the point I need to get going. So the question becomes, do we want to, how far do we want to go before we finish here? I can use the arrow keys to do this.
Right.
Oh, wait.
Look out below! Above!
Let me just check in one more time with the Sundermen. See if there's anything else we can find out. No, we're good. Okay. Alright. Down that way. Now at this point we're going to have a decision to make. A few decisions. Once again, we can try fighting the waits for prey. That might get us a little something, but or we can, you know, drink from that and go back into the labyrinth. But then this is going to become about trying to talk to the Mamavra. And honestly, I think once we get into talk to the Mamavra, I think that's going to be a whole thing, and it's going to probably take a bit longer than I might like. You go ahead and save here. And then we're going to I'm going to poke about just a little bit. I am curious to go into the labyrinth and see if anything is different. You've done nothing with weights for prey. I want to challenge you to come. Yes, Herodis says having footwood. We do, you are challenged. A fight scene, the hero will make many wounds and survive or die. The construct's blade arms suddenly clench, whirring into a new configuration with such speed that your eyes cannot follow. A moment ago they seemed sleek and clinical, like a chirurgeon's well-honed knife. Now they are jagged and cruel. Why would you ask this? Its voice is suddenly different, higher pitched and grating like the scrape of a hacksaw across a rough metal surface. To test myself isn't that enough because you're a killer, and as long as you're here, you're going to keep killing for your own selfish ends. After many others have failed, I want to be known as the one who finally defeated you. I don't need to tell you why. Yeah, it's red and silver. Gah. The construct inclines its head. Such motives are known to me as they were to all my sibling comrades. Our minds were made to crave a challenge, to test ourselves, as you say. Warfare is ever fluid, ever shifting, and a soldier must likewise flow and shift to follow its course. No, I will not fight you. Faster than your eyes can follow, the blade arms swing back to their sleek original shape, and the voice becomes hollow once more. In the eyes of the bloom, you are no great predator. No purpose would be served by your death. Is it serious? Eratus looks back and forth between you and the construct. All those spikes and blades and blood-making, flesh-cutting things, and it doesn't want to fight? Fight it anyway. Leave me to my watch and do not challenge me again. You'll fight me or you die. You see, that's the thing. I don't really feel like this is a good response. That's the only thing. I can't do it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I can't do it. I'm not ruthless enough for this game.
Fair enough.
I'm just not ruthless enough. And I also feel as though I could have gotten different tides on that question. You know, we can't get away from this. It's blue and gold. It's going to be blue and gold.
Yes.
Let me check the labyrinth.
I'm faltering. I'm hurt.
We're going to have a little chat with the labyrinth. Mostly want to see if there's anything new here. These are all folks that we have previously encountered. That's Inifir again. Don't particularly want to talk to Inifir. Artalio, there's the new one. The new guest. The new tenant. The hazy form of Artalio, the captain of the Irregulars, stands here. He's staring around the column as if trying to place what he's doing here. He holds up his hands and stares at them through them. He laughs. I suppose this is immortality of a sword, eh? This is immortality of a sword, eh, Castoff? Share a drink and form a connection with Artalio. Okay. Talk to Artalio. What a place you have here, Castoff. Do all of you have one of these in your heads? He leans in. I'm hearing all kinds of whispers, you know, like there's more in here than we can see. How are things here? I don't feel real, like I'm incomplete. At least there's plenty of rum here. Are you happy to be here? You tell me, Castoff. He gestures broadly. Does this look like the sort of place where anyone is happy? He sighs. At least I'm not in the bloom anymore. Tell me again, are you happy here? No, does it really matter? Tell me a story from your life, Artelian. Yes, a new content contributor. He thinks his eyes squinting shut. I'm remembering wars and women and laughter. One time we rolled into a town that was supposed to be hostile and they threw us against the biggest party. After a while we all got blackout drunk, even our sentries. We woke up stark naked in the morning, surrounded by mud as far as the eye could see. No sign of the town, no buildings, no inhabitants. We never could find it again. His face falls. Lost my favorite boots there, too. Do you have any other stories from your life? Too foggy to remember any more, Castoff. I'll let you know if I want to tell some. Share a drink and form a connection with Artalio. Okay. A bottle forms in his hand. He passes it to you, and you share its contents. A wave of tipsy contentment washes over you, and you feel your body's muscles subtly adjusting to the memories and experiences Artalio's reflection offers. And we have gained a newer ability, Artalio's Cunning. Excellent. Now we will leave him alone. Good, good! We have so many pieces of other people's brains now. We have Syria's Peace. We have Choi's Balm. Clear Mind, which we got from fighting the Sorrow. The Katina Intelligence, and now we have Artalio's Cunning. All companions in short range gain Artalio's Cunning, plus 5 initiative, plus 15%. Willpower, plus 10% of persuasion tasks, plus 20% damage. Nice! He's good.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty much what we wanted. When you expend effort in either conversation or crises, you spend points from your might, speed, or intellect pool. Okay. Okay, done. It was a nice little trip. Okay, I'm gonna save once more. And then I think we're gonna head out because I must go forth and perform the ritual of luncheon. Oh no! Okay, thank goodness. we had a problem for a moment. We were about to have technical difficulties. I shall have to make some decisions. And perhaps read up on some things. Okay. Yay! Okay. Well, there we are. Let me get to this. Let me go ahead and start that up. Okay. Thank you all very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, we're getting closer. I thought we were almost at the end, but apparently there's more. So, I guess we have to confront the first Castoff and find out what the heck is actually going on. And what we're going to do here. What we're going to do involving the resonance chamber, if anything. A lot of choices to be made here. It's very cool. It's very cool. But, as far as what I'm doing, so tonight I should be over guesting on Wandering DM, I believe. Over on that channel, as they play Cyberpunk Red. I'm going to be there kind of helping them kick off their... and help them sort of kick off their final season. And so I'll be doing that. Then let's see, Saturday nights here on this channel we have our regular campaign of Invisible Sun that I'm running. Let's see, on Tuesdays, on this coming Tuesday, we have a continuation of our playtest of Genesis Undone, which is a game that I wrote that we're trying out. Kicking the tires. How do we I don't know, how can we tell anything about the sun if it's invisible? How can we be sure it's not there? How do we know there aren't millions of them right up there right now? I don't know. That would be rather a lot. You know? But yeah, so let's see, on Wednesdays during the day typically is when I play City Skylines, though I will probably inevitably end up getting in another session of it between now and then, just sort of randomly. On Wednesday nights, we have our Scum and Villainy game, Untitled Space game, hopefully, when we're all available. And then that brings us back around to Friday when we have more of this. So, getting close, getting very close, very much looking forward to it. And that'll be about it. I'm going to go fall over for a bit. So I will see you folks later. Take care. I'll see you all of a sudden.